Home Assistant is an open source home automation platform that allows you to control several devices in your house. I've been using Home Assistant in the last 1 month and I love it for 3 big reasons among others. First big reason is one interface, one platform where I can control almost all smart devices in my house. Instead of having to use this application for this company or this brand, use this other application for this brand, I can just use one application, one interface to control all of these things. Second big reason why I love Home Assistant is that you can also keep many things in your own network. You don't have to reach out to the cloud just to turn on a device or set up a home automation. And the third big reason why I love Home Assistant is that there are so many integrations. There are so many things in your house that Home Assistant can connect to. You might even be thinking, I don't have any smart devices. You'd be surprised that some of the devices you have, Home Assistant has an integration for that. This could be an integration that was provided by the Home Assistant team, or it could be an integration provided by the Home Assistant community all around the world. In this video, I'll show you how you can set up Home Assistant on a Raspberry Pi. But before I do that, I want to give you an idea of the things you can do in Home Assistant. So yeah, I have my Home Assistant dashboard and I have a few devices already connected here. I have a couple of devices in the living room. In my office, I also have some integrations here, like the key light I'm using for recording. I can actually turn it off and on here. But apart from just seeing the devices you have or turning on and off devices, I think the power of Home Assistant shines when you start doing things like automations. When it comes to automations, you can have very simple automations or very complex automations. Like I have an automation where when there's someone in the front door, I have a security camera for which there's an integration in Home Assistant. And the security camera, I'm not going to go deep into this yet, but the security camera has a person detection that goes from clear to detected when the security camera detects someone. And based on that trigger, I can send a notification to the Echo Dots in the house. So you hear this big announcement in the house, there's someone in front of the door.
There is someone at the door.
And you can also send phone notifications. I have another automation for security lights where every 6 p.m. I turn on the front and back security light, and when it is 8 a.m. in the morning, I turn off the security light. I'm going to show you how you can do something like this for yourself, and yeah, let's get into it. So like I said, you need to have a Raspberry Pi, and then you can SSH into your Raspberry Pi from your normal laptop, or you can connect your Raspberry Pi to a keyboard and a monitor and do whatever you want to do there. But I'm using my personal laptop for this here, and if we check here, you can see I have this directory, which is what contains my Home Assistant stuff. For this video, we're going to start up a new Home Assistant instance. Oh yeah, but before I do that, if we come into the Home Assistant directory I have here, you can see I have a couple of containers running. So I'm just going to shut down all of these containers. Okay, so now that I have this, I can create a new directory, HA demo, and here we are. Now if you go to the Home Assistant installation guide on your website, there are different ways you can install Home Assistant. You can get the plug and play Home Assistant green or Home Assistant yellow. You can also install it on a Linux, Mac OS, Windows system. You can check the docs for that if that's what you're interested in, but in this video I'm going to focus on the Raspberry Pi. Now when it comes to Raspberry Pi, you can install the Home Assistant operating system directly on the Raspberry Pi. So instead of installing a Linux operating system, you can install the Home Assistant one, but I didn't want to do that because I wanted a Linux operating system where I can do other things on the same Raspberry Pi beyond just Home Assistant stuff. So here, since I have a Linux operating system in my Raspberry Pi, I can come to this section here. Of course, you can do things like virtual machines, but I'm just using a Docker container. So you need to have Docker on your Raspberry Pi setup, and when you have that, you can just run this Docker run and all of these configurations here, or you can have your Docker compose file and you have all of these here. So that's what I'm going to do. So here I'm going to create a Docker compose YAML file, and I have an editor on my Raspberry Pi called Micro, and I can open this file here. Then I can copy this as it is and paste it. So here we have the container name. We pull the image, the Home Assistant image from here. Then we have some volumes which we bind. In this case, you have to provide a configuration file such that you can bind a configuration file on the Raspberry Pi, a configuration directory on the Raspberry Pi to the configuration directory in the Home Assistant container. So here I'm going to bind the config directory, which I'm going to create after this. Then you also bind this for local time, and I think this is for Bluetooth integrations, right? Yeah, dbus is optional but required if you plan to use Bluetooth integration. I'm just going to keep that. I don't plan to use Bluetooth integration. A couple of things here. You also have network mode host so that you can be able to access this on your network network layer, so that way other devices connected to the same Wi-Fi can also access the Home Assistant server and this environment. And when I am done, I can save that file, and then now I can create the config directory. So now we have the config directory and we have the Docker compose. And now I can run Docker compose up in detach mode, and we have this created. Now this didn't take so much time for me because I have downloaded the Home Assistant image previously, but if this is your first time running it, it might take a few seconds. Now that I have this, as we would see in the docs, you can go to your host IP and you can go to 8123. So the host IP for my Raspberry Pi is 234. Then I can go 8123, which is the default port for Home Assistant. And when I go there, it doesn't work. What if we try this in Safari? See, it works. I don't know. I've noticed something where I try a local IP like this on Chrome and it doesn't work. I don't know, maybe for caching reasons, but it works in Safari. So let's just continue here, I guess. So when you're here, you can restore Home Assistant backup, or you can restore from the cloud. But if this is your first time, you can start afresh. So create my smart home, and I'm going to create a smart home Deeecode. My password, let's just keep this 0000. It's not the most efficient, but it works for this demo purpose. Okay, I have that. And then I can specify my address. I'm just going to use Amsterdam Central because I'm not going to put my address here. So let's just say this is my address. I don't want any of this. Go next. You can see that Home Assistant has already found some integrations in my house. It found that I have an Apple TV connected to my Wi-Fi network, and it was able to see this is an Apple TV. There are also Bluetooth integrations. There's Philips Hue. Don't worry, we're not going to touch on all of these things in this video. We're going to keep it simple, but let's just finish. Okay, so now we have this. There's a Home Assistant dashboard, very plain. We have this user and we have this integration that shows the weather. So this is the first step, but you can also install Home Assistant on your phone. And the reason why this is powerful is then you can be able to share location from your phone to your servers. That way you can set up automations for when you're at home, when you are at the office, when you go for groceries. You can do a lot of interesting things. And beyond that, you can also expose other information from your phone to your Home Assistant server. Like in my case, I can see how many steps I've taken in a day on my Home Assistant server because my phone exposes that. So when you download the Home Assistant from your App Store, you go to Home Assistant, then you can add a server. I'm going to add a server here, and it's currently searching for network. And as you can see, it has found the Home Assistant server that I currently have running, 192.168.234.8123, and I can connect to that server. I can log in. The details I used are Deeecode and 0000, and I can log in. What would you like to call this device? We'll call it this iPhone. So we can save that. Local by default, remote when you're ready. We'll come to remote access in a second, and got it. And then now you can share different information from your phone. So here I can choose to share my location. It says most secure, allow this app to know when you're home. Yes, I want that. Let's go next. What Wi-Fi is your home network, so that way I can have that local access to my remote server. That is my Wi-Fi. And now when I go back, you can see we have this. This is on my phone, and it looks just like what we have on the UI here. And now you can see it says that Deeecode is away. Why does it say that I'm away? Because if you remember when we were putting the address, I put the address of Amsterdam Central, and that is not where I live. But because my phone is not there, it now says I am away. Now when I go to Amsterdam Central, which I would have loved to be able to show you, but no way I'm taking a trip there just for this video. If I go there, then it's going to say I am home because my phone would send that location update to my server, and then it says I'm home. This is called the companion app, by the way. If we go here to settings and we scroll down to this companion app, we can choose the different things that we want to expose to the Home Assistant server. So when we scroll down, you see we have these sensors. When you click on sensors, you can expose different things here. These are some of the things I have already exposed. Your battery level, your battery state, your connection type, your distance, and there are also a couple of other things that I haven't exposed yet. But depending on how much information is available, if you're using an Android phone, there are even more things that you can expose. You can expose a lot more things to your Home Assistant server. Okay, so now we have this. We have the Home Assistant dashboard. We have it on our phone. Let's look at remote access before we go further. The way this works right now is I can only access the Home Assistant server when I am connected to my local network. But what if I'm away from home and I want to turn on a device or turn off a device, or maybe I want the Home Assistant server to send a push notification to my phone? Well, that would not work since I'm not on the home Wi-Fi. There are different ways you can have remote access where you can be able to access your home assistant server even when you're not home. One of the ways is by using Home Assistant Cloud. Here you have to pay. There is a free 1-month trial. You can choose to do that. In my case, I use Tailscale. There are a lot of interesting things you can do with Tailscale. I think I'm just using a bit of it. If we check the pricing, you can see the free part limited to 3 users, 100 devices, and a couple of other things. Basically how this works is that you have Tailscale running on all your devices that you want to be able to communicate with each other. So I have Tailscale on my phone, I have it on my Mac Mini, I have it on my personal laptop, I have it on my wife's phone as well. And since all of these devices are connected to my Tailscale network, then I can be able to reach the Home Assistant server here even when I am not home. So here you can see I have Tailscale. Well, it's not connected. Now I can connect it. So now it's connected to my personal network, and you can see the other devices are connected. My M1 is there, my Mac Mini is there, the Pi is there. My wife's phone is currently not connected, so maybe she turned off her data. So now I'm currently on Wi-Fi, but if I remove from Wi-Fi and I go to mobile data, currently it doesn't work because I'm not connected to the Wi-Fi. Go on my phone. When you go to settings, I can add an external URL. So currently I have an internal URL for when I'm connected to the Wi-Fi. Let me even rename this to demo so that I can differentiate it well. Now for the external URL, I can enter HTTP. So I can enter that, and then I enter 8123 again, which is the port, and now I can save. So now even when I'm on my mobile data, you can see I can still access my Home Assistant server. All right, now that we have this, we have touched on just fundamental things for connecting your phone to your Home Assistant network, but there are more stuff you can do. So currently we don't have any device here. I have a smart light here, which is made by Philips. I'm going to connect this light to my Home Assistant. Depending on the smart devices you have, you can always check if there is an integration for that. So if I go to settings, since we go to here, devices and services, these are the bunch of things that it has discovered. It has discovered that I have Zigbee dongle, Philips Hue, my Apple TV. It has a couple of things, but I want to add this stuff here. So I'm going to add the Philips Hue. By the way, if you don't see this already in Discovered, you can come here to add integration, and I can search for Philips, and I want to add a Hue, but as you can see, it already discovered the Hue here. So I can click on that, and now it says that I have to press the button on the bridge to register Philips Hue with Home Assistant. So by the way, if you don't know how Philips Hue works, let me just give you. So Philips creates all these smart devices, and they call it Philips Hue. And you have the bridge. This is where all your devices would connect to, instead of all your devices connecting to your Wi-Fi. And then you can have smart bulbs. So you can have smart bulb, smart socket, dimmer switch, security camera. You can have a couple of things all connected to this bridge. So when this says press the button on your bridge to register Philips with Home Assistant, that is what it's saying. So let's go press my bridge. So this is the bridge here. I don't mind the cable management I have here. This is my Raspberry Pi, by the way. So it says I should press the button. So I'm gonna, press the button. Okay, now that I have pressed the button, I can come here now and submit. And when I submit, look at this. It has found so many lights that are connected to my Hue bridge. I can rename all of these things later, but for now, I'm just going to add all of them. And now I have all of these devices here. So now when we come back to integrations, we have Philips Hue integration here with 10 devices. If I come here to devices, I can see all of the devices I have here. Now when you go to overview, you can see all of the devices here. And I think this is the TV shelf light. I brought the light upstairs just for this video. So if I turn it on, we have that. Turn it off, we have this. What else can I show you? All of these are in the living room. The bar left and bar right. I think the bar left is up here. Can I show you? Well, let me try showing you. Okay, so I have this, which is a light bar from Philips Hue. And if I don't know if this is the bar. Oh, it's the bar left. Look. And I can also change the color from here to purple. Yeah, right here. And I can turn it off. And then I have my workspace plug. This should not be called workspace plug. It's for my key light. So my key light comes with a normal power cable, but then by using a smart plug, I'm able to turn off and turn on my key light whenever I want. And by clicking on this, it turns off the socket, which turns off the key light. And when I turn it on back, we have this. Yeah, this is how to basically add integrations. You can add more integrations. If you come here, there is AccuWeather where you can get weather information. There are a couple of integrations here. Let me see if there's any other one that I can quickly show you. There's even a fast.com integration. Oh, wow. What would this do? I'm curious. Oh, okay, actually, I think it will just tell you how fast the internet is, maybe the download speed. So if we go back to the overview, we have fast.com, but it's not doing anything. Anyways, now if we go back to these settings, you can see we've talked about Home Assistant Cloud, we have integrations, and we have devices. Another thing I think is very powerful about Home Assistant is this entities section. Think of entities as any attribute. So you have a bunch of devices, like my mobile phone, that's a device. But this device has a bunch of entities. If we filter this entity by device, this iPhone, you can see all of the entities that we have here. We have activity, app version, audio output, battery level, battery state, connection type, distance. And what this means is that you can set up automations for when a particular entity changes. For example, if my phone goes below 30%, I can have an automation that runs like turn on a particular light or do XYZ. Let me show you a very simple automation, which is that whenever I turn on my key light, then also turn on this lamp here. When you come to settings here and you come to automations, we can create an automation. Let's create a new automation. We're going to add a trigger. The way automations work is there is a trigger, there's a condition, then do stuff. The condition is optional. You can just do when there's a trigger, do this. So when we try to add a trigger, we're going to check device, and then we can select the device, and we're going to select this, which is the TV shelf light. Yeah. And we're going to say when this shelf light is turned. No, actually, I'm doing it the other way. It should be the key light, not this. So this, again, it should not be called workspace plug. By the way, I can even change the name. Let me show you how to do that. Don't save, we'll come back to this. So if we go here to the devices, we have the workspace plug, but I'm going to rename it to key light. You can also set areas. There are different default areas here, but I can set an area called office, which is on the first floor. Add new floor 1, level 1, whatever. Yeah. Okay, so now it's called key light. So I can go here now, add an automation, and I can say when the key light, when the key light is turned on, you can add different conditioners. You can check if a device is in a particular state for an entity, if there is a particular time. You can do all of that. For example, I can also say if the time is 8 a.m., then do X or do Y, but I'm going to skip that part. Also for this then part, you can do a lot of interesting things. You can then set up a notification, then turn on the lights, then do something on a device, whatever. So here I'm just going to say device. So then I can select the TV shelf light, which is this one, and I can say turn on the TV shelf light. For the brightness, let's keep this 100 and save, and we'll call this a demo automation. And now I have this automation here. So what's going to happen now? Let's go here, and I'm going to turn off the key light. Nothing happens. Then I turn on the key light, and you can see this also came on when this other thing came on. Another thing I can do here with this demo automation is that I can say if the key light is turned on or off, then I can, instead of saying turn on TV shelf light, I can toggle the TV shelf light. So that way, if I turn off the key light, this will go off. If I turn on the key light, this will go on. Let's try that. So here, I turn off the key light, this goes off as well. I turn on the key light, this goes on as well. Another automation you can set, which I can't really demo here, is you can set an automation that when this iPhone, when I enter a zone, which is home, you can create different zones. You can have your home zone, office zone. But I can say when this iPhone enters a zone, which is basically when Dillion comes home, then I can do stuff. Or I can say when Dillion leaves a zone, then I can turn off all the lights. Anyways, that's the basic idea. If you come back here again, there's entities, there's also helpers. Helpers, I'm still getting used to. I don't have the best idea of it yet, but what I understand helpers to be is sort of a way where Actually, you can do different things with it, but one way that I've been using it on my original Home Assistant server is that I can create a helper, which is a group, and I can create a group of something. So I can create a group of lights, and I can call this office lights. And so in this case, I can select the members of the group. So I can select the key light is part of it. I can select the light bars, the one I showed you. So there is a light bar left and a light bar right, and I'll just select this, even though this is not actually for the office, the TV show of light, and I can create this group. Now what makes this special now is if I go here in this overview, you can see that I have this office light group, and when I turn off the office light, everything in the office light goes off, and when I turn it on, everything goes on, including the light bars, which you can't really see because you're not in view. But with helpers, you can kind of create reusable pieces of things that you want to use. Again, I'm still getting used to it, and as things are clearer, I'll make videos on them. But that's about it for device, entities, helpers. Then obviously there is automations, and there is also scenes. Scenes are where you can say, when I activate this particular scene, I want the state of this light to be here. I want the state of that light to be here. I haven't been doing a lot with scenes, to be honest. Script, I'm also still trying to get used to them, but I think I'll just touch on this in a different video when I have better experience with it. I think blueprints are more like templates, like if you want to set up a zone notification or a motion activated light. I haven't done anything with blueprints yet. Areas, labels, and zones. You can set up an area, you have a bunch of labels, you have a bunch of zones. Currently I have one zone which is home, and this is Amsterdam Central, but I can also add another zone for like when I'm in the office or stuff like that. Then there is dashboards. You have the default overview dashboard, but you can also create your own dashboard which would have whatever you want. For example, you can create a dashboard to just show things that are related to the office. You can do a lot of that. I'll make videos on dashboards as well. And if we're here in the settings, there's voice assistant. You can actually control things in your Home Assistant using your voice assistant like Google Assistant or Amazon Alexa. You can do all of those things. And yeah, there are a lot of interesting things which I'll keep diving into. You can also check logs. By the way, if you go to settings, you can come here to system and you can check here logs. For example, sometimes one light doesn't come up or one automation did not run the way you expected it to run. You can come check logs like a proper developer and see what's going on. Why did this not come on? Oh, something here broke, and you can figure out. So yes, oh, by the way, the fast.com is working now. So I think it basically just checks download speed. So you know what, I can actually set an automation that when the download speed is over 120, turn on the lights in the house, or just make an announcement in the house that the internet speed is now really good. Literally any data that is available in Home Assistant, you can set up an automation for that data. So yeah, that's about what I want to cover in the Home Assistant video. I'll be making more videos showing the different things I'm doing with Home Assistant, automating different stuff, or even making things that are not smart by themselves smart, like I did with my key light. By itself, it's not smart, but by getting a smart plug, I now have a smart key light, sort of. I'll make more videos, and if there are specific things you'd love to see, let me know in the comments. I know for some of my audience, you might be surprised why I'm making this video as opposed to the regular coding videos I make. I'm still going to be making coding videos, but Home Assistant is something I've been playing with and having a lot of fun with, and I also want to share. So I hope you love this video, and see you in my next video.